Hello and welcome to the Surviving UX podcast. I am Meg Kramer and usually I have Jessamine Edwards with me. We may record later, but I wanted to give a short update because the whole point of the mini-series is to capture these moments in time of working through this process. And so today we had the idea that we would do a run through of the presentation in front of a small audience, very small, just a couple of folks that we know, get feedback, incorporate that feedback, and also get a chance to feel out the presentation. And the other reason I wanted to come on is to say happy birthday to my dad. I'm recording this on his birthday, and I know he listens to this podcast. So happy birthday, Dad. I did end up utilizing the time with the couple of folks that I had slated to give feedback on the presentation. Last episode, I talked about how inverting a story can kind of be a good way to rethink how you're telling a story. Well, I think perhaps I've gone too far in the other direction and I've retold my section in multiple ways so many times that one of the pieces of feedback I got was the punchline is coming too soon. There's just only a tiny bit of setup, the aha, and then there's kind of more at the end. And so I do think I'm going to go back and reorganize that. The other really great thing about practicing in front of people who haven't heard your talk before is, especially insightful, smart people, is that they will be able to say back to you your points in their language. And what that will help you do is kind of perhaps choose better language to use in your talk. So one of the things that I was very grateful for was one of those kinds of summaries where I thought, oh my gosh, that is exactly what I'm trying to say in a much more succinct way than I have been saying it. And I don't think I would have gotten that kind of, insight had we not done some of this to, a larger audience. One of the other interesting pieces of feedback I got was that the very last slide, the end of the slide, I got feedback that I was very enthusiastic on that slide, perhaps more excited in the way I was speaking than in other parts of the presentation, and even in the summary section, which comes right before kind of the last wrap-up slide. And I was kind of giving off the vibes that I was happy to be done with the presentation, more happy to be done with the presentation than the actual takeaways that I wanted them to go away with. And so obviously that's not the vibe I want to give off. I want to give up the vibe of I really enjoyed prepping for this talk. I really enjoyed giving this talk. I really enjoyed being here with all of you and getting the opportunity to speak, and not just excitement that we're wrapping this up and we're done and we get to go have snacks or treats or whatever. So I'm definitely going to work on that piece as well. And then I think the other piece of feedback that is really good to do when you give a talk, and in particular, I actually picked people that were not really completely centered in the UX world. And I, even though that really won't necessarily be the people in the audience, one of the nice things about that is that they can kind of check you on the language you're using. If you're using language that is too inside the profession. So for example, at one point I used the word crit and the person said, I don't know what crit is. I don't know what you mean when you say crit. And that's super easy to change. That's going to be something where I just say, a critique session of design work. That's a very simple and easy change. A lot of times on the podcast, we often use inside lingo that obviously is not as low barrier to entry to somebody who doesn't know these terms. But for a talk like this, I would, because we're doing quite, a lot of preparation for it, I would like to kind of incorporate words that are more, that are more words or phrases that are more universal. So I'm happy to do that. And then also it was another point that was brought up that we were kind of talking about a particular strategy or practice or tactic, actually a tactic. And the feedback was, oh, that's an actual tactic, kind of like with a name in a particular domain that I hadn't thought of. And perhaps some people might be familiar with that. And so it might be a good idea to kind of like nod to the fact that this is kind of a thing that exists. It's not just something that we made up on the fly. So I'm going to go look more into that and make sure like attribution goes to the right place. So that's all I wanted to say for the kind of feedback that I got, and kind of interesting things to look out for when you're doing a feedback session. And then the last thing is, if you're ever looking for feedback and you have people who are wonderful enough on very short notice to come and listen to you give a talk, whether it's half baked or more fully baked, and these people are willing to share their insights and their expertise, make sure that they feel like their time was very valued. So just wanted to give a shout out to my really wonderful friends, Megan and Sen, for giving their time to us for this. So with that, we'll either wrap up here, or if Jessamine and I are able to record something else, we'll add it to the end of this before we release this particular short mini episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Surviving UX podcast. I am Meg Kramer, and I am joined by Jessamine Edwards, and we are just a few short days away from our presentation conference talk that we've been getting ready for and recording these mini episodes for. Jessamine, we're checking in with you. How are you doing?
Yes.
How are you doing?
Well, yeah, I'm okay. I'm not at the office and I'm not on company time right now, just saying for the record. Um, I am reeling from our company announcement, which has been all over the news about
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
returning to the office 5 days a week. And there have been a lot of feelings. There have been some tears. It is a shock to all. It is a shock to all. So
Yeah.
everyone is talking about it and is absorbing it. And for me,
Mm-hmm.
I am, because of my super commute arrangement, I am wondering if and how I can achieve this, um, returning to the office given my distance. So I'm trying to tell myself not to panic
Yeah.
and not to make any rash decisions. So I am just going to ride it out and keep talking, keep having conversations, keep listening, and see how tough, like, they really are going to be. Um, how
What a
much they mean it, you
what
know?
a bonkers like announcement. Like did it seem like it came out of the blue?
It was like a bomb dropping. And I think like a lot of people just didn't know.
Uh-huh.
Um, so yeah, I think a lot of people are just like, whoa. So, there's people who are already doing, a couple days a week in the office and who are able to do that. There are people who have like situations at home that are make that really difficult and challenging. So working from home just works better for them
Mm-hmm.
and they're where they are in their life. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that the people who can't do it are like, "Oh, I don't want to do this because I just want to be in my pajamas and have Netflix running on the side." It's more about like it's a distance issue or it's a family member issue or it's a health issue or there's something that's going on for people that makes it difficult to be in that office 5 days a
Totally.
week. Yeah.
I for the first time in all the time I've been working with Adobe, got to go to the San Jose office last week,
Mhm.
and it was a treat. It was
Mhm.
uh, there were a lot of things gained from that. I do recognize that the buildings are beautiful. I enjoyed meeting my colleagues and getting to spend that time with them. Just a lot of positives all the way around.
Yeah.
That said, I mean, I wasn't more than a day into it before I said to myself, like, my current situation is the right fit for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that other people feel very differently. Like
Mm-hmm.
I talk to people or there are sometimes people who casually will say like, "Oh, I don't know how anybody could like, be fully remote or something like that." Because like they're they're
Yeah.
people or people persons.
They're
Um,
people. Mm-hmm.
and or they don't want to be at home because there's so many distractions or all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Totally valid too. But for me, being there made me feel like I know what the right is fit is for me in terms of
Mm-hmm.
how to work. And would I love to like see my team more in like one-offs every so often?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm happy to do that. I'm happy for people who like to, who get a lot out of being in the office, but I I I agree with you to the or I yeah, I guess I just wanted to share that from my perspective, I had kind of a taste of it, and
Mm.
it was so clear to me that there is a way of working that is really beneficial for me. And I think a big piece of it is actually just not being around a lot of people, like
Mm-hmm.
navigating simple things. It sounds so silly, but like navigating simple things like elevators and conference rooms and places to be and parking lots and just
Oh
like
yeah.
not having any of that stuff on your mind on your plate
Right.
is so helpful to me to be able to say, okay, now I can focus in on the work. I would be so highly
Right.
distracted in an office in a way that like I am not at home, which I'm
Yeah.
sure just boggles people's minds because it's like, aren't you distracted in your own home by like all the millions of things that are in your house? But it's
Mm.
like nothing here is novel.
Yeah. Right.
Nothing here is like distracting to me in the way that like being in an office like would be, I think. So
Oh,
anyway,
yeah. The
I
parking
just
alone, it's funny you mention it because I literally today was grabbing coffee with a coworker and they were like, I can only be here for 30 minutes because my parking's about to run out. And then somebody pointed out that there's a rumor that the minimum badge time where it counts for you to be in the office for the day is 2 hours. And they
Mhm.
said that's when the parking price switches from $11 to $21. So you
Hmm.
can park for the day for 11 or for less than 2 hours for 11, but then if you're over 2 hours, it's $21 and you get charged for the full day. So not cheap. Um,
No,
yeah.
definitely not. Yeah, crazy. All right. Well, let's shift into the conference talk. How are you feeling? I mean, it's like your life has been a pretty bad, a little bit nonstop recently with like some work changes, obviously this news,
Mm,
your own offsite or onsite, however we want to talk
mm-hmm.
about it. So like what's going on and how
So,
mad are you at me? Just kidding.
so like I'm at this point where when I have a lot on my plate. Like I've been traveling a lot for work. I've been away from home a lot. Um, I'm like a camper basically. Like I have a backpack. Right now, I literally have a baggie of like Swiss cheese, ham, and lettuce sitting on the table with me because I brought lunch and that's
Mhm.
how lunch showed up today. Um, and I have like, dirty laundry in a pocket somewhere. I'm on the go, on the move. I have stuff in lockers and um I'm like I've got a homework due tonight for my accounting class. I have La Leche League training that I'm supposed to be doing reading for. And I read this book on ADD recently, and it was talking about how ADD brains crave novelty
Mhm.
and like novel and new experiences. And so I was like, because every time I do something new, I come up with a new activity or I commit myself to something else, my husband's like, "What is your deal? Like, why are you always seeking out these things?" And so I've started asking myself when I get overloaded and stress is like, is this a manufactured crisis? Like, did I put myself here?
Hmm.
Is this out of my control or is this in my control? And that's a question I would not have asked like my younger self would not have asked.
Yeah.
I would not, and when I find myself getting stressed or irritated or whatever, I'm like, am I able to grab the reins and pull back on this at all? Should I let this play out and just feel the feelings? Or should I say, like, it's not worth getting upset at this coworker, or it's not worth getting upset at this whatever, project because I don't want to, I want to protect myself. I want to protect my emotions and protect my mental health. And I don't want to let myself get carried away in every little drama that happens on the team. And
Hmm.
so I'm going to cut those things like off emotionally and just be like, oh, well, like today I showed a design and someone's like, shouldn't this design be this whole other thing? And I'm like, you know what? It probably could be. And if you want to do that, you go right ahead and you can build it that way. I said, I don't think I'm going to have time to rework this whole thing, but you're welcome to. And I'm aligned if you want to do that. So I was like, you know, go with God, like just
Yeah.
peace be with you, friend. Um, because like what I did was I thought like kind of the best I could do. So it's kind of like that where I'm in this sort of self-reflection mode, and when I'm feeling down or when I'm feeling stressed, I'm like, well, what can I do about it?
Mhm.
I can ignore it. I can like feed it and then let it play out. I can stop signing up for things. But I'm like, I care
Yeah.
about these things and I want to do them. I want to do
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So I do feel like I I love getting involved in things. And I really do tell myself like stop raising your hand and getting involved. Um, but I can't deny that I love it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that's
think
where I'm at.
think we need just generally, like maybe you more, maybe different people to different degrees, but I do feel like not raising my hand or being like raising my hand half the time that I think I want to is a good practice.
Yeah.
Or raising my hand halfway and being like, I can sort of do this, but I am not going to deliver at the like, I'm not going to do this like the best, at the best.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do. I saw this thing on Instagram that was like, when teachers, like when you were little and teachers said, like, do your best for like overachievers, that means
Mm.
like, do your freaking best, which is like,
Mm-hmm.
you are just going to go hard at it.
Mm.
And it doesn't, to perhaps what they meant was like, just try real hard, you know, but
Hmm.
like, that's not how I think it's
It's not
internalized.
sustainable.
It's
It's not
like,
sustainable. And I have felt that I had that exact thing this morning. I was literally in the kitchen at the office eating yet another office meal. And I was eating a cup of yogurt and I was like stirring the blueberries into the yogurt. And I was thinking, I have a usability test that starts in about 10 minutes. And I can either put this yogurt down and go and fix and review my prototype and make sure it's perfect, or I can eat this yogurt and then go into the test and tell the person that the prototype isn't perfect and we'll just talk about it.
this is
And guess
probably gonna
guess which
break
option I
anyway.
chose.
I hope you chose the yogurt. I hope you're having really good probiotic health. Um, all right. Well, these are supposed to be mini episodes. I think this is basically a full episode.
Full up
Where are we at? We're a little nutty. Um, we're gonna get on planes tomorrow. Very exciting.
trains.
Oh, trains. Ooh, planes and trains.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get on planes and trains. So far, this is still happening. I'm impressed. Uh with I'm
Yeah.
really impressed. And I should also say, like, I am impressed, Jessamine, that you do as many things as you do and as well as you do the things that you do. However, that said, it doesn't have to be the bar. So I want to
Mm.
compliment you, but not like reinforce that it has to be that way. So
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, we're the next time we record, it'll be in person. So very exciting.
Mm.
Uh
Excited.
Folks, stay with us, stay tuned. See if we get there unscathed and we make it to actually see each other in person.
Awesome. I can't wait.
All
It's only
right.
been 5 years, right?
It's only been 5 years. Seems longer to me, actually, but
Mm-hmm.
it's been a long 5 years. All right. All right. Take care, everyone. We will see you next time.
Bye.
This mini episode of Surviving UX is brought to you by Jessamine Edwards and Meg Kramer. Our theme music is Opus Number 1 by Tim Carlton and Derek Deal. We will be having this mini episode series run until, we said originally September 20th, but that's actually about the time that we will be recording our last couple of episodes. So we may go through the end of September. And if you are listening to this in the future, though, the next episode is waiting for you right away.